Alright, so I don't have my tripod with me right now. I got this arm pod. So, you want to know why sometimes it seems like I'm rushing to do stuff outside or I talk about not having enough time? Well, it's because I get asked, dear, on your day off of work, can you clean the basement so I can have a massage tomorrow? I go, yes, dear, let me clean the basement on my day off. Even though the massage isn't until 2 p.m. on Saturday, and it's supposed to rain all Saturday, that I could do that Saturday morning, but I'm doing it on a nice sunny day outside. So, husbands, remember, even though you have a homestead to take care of your wife first. Oh, and that loud noise in the background, dehumidifier and an air purifier. Because it's a basement and it likes to be musty sometimes, so we like it not to be musty and stinky. So we like to use dehumidifier and air purifier. Alright, so got some gravel wash off from my driveway from a storm, so I'm going to go ahead and clean up all the gravel in the ditch and get it back into the driveway and along the shoulder where my mailbox is. That way, we're supposed to get rain for the next few days, and when it gets too heavy, all this gravel will get washed away, and that's just something that later on I'm going to have to pay for. So we're going to go ahead and get started on cleaning this ditch up, and then keep moving on with today's chorin. So, tractor's still running. I'm gonna go drum this last load of gravel, and then you're gonna watch me do some mowing. We got some grass seed to put down for the chickens, so we want to go ahead and chew up any of the leaves or anything that's already left here, and we can get a nice surface for those seeds to grab hold of. Alright, so now that we're done mowing where the chickens are going to be going, time to seed it again. We got some grass growing over there, but we want to go ahead and try to get as much growing as possible. We're going to go ahead and load up the spreader, just a good old-fashioned walk behind throwing spreader, and we're going to go ahead and seed these. It's supposed to rain for the next 3 days, but be in the 50s, and then it's going to be in the 60s. So they should start germinating with that nice water that we're going to be getting. So let's go ahead and get these on the ground so we can move on to the next job. So I figured I'd pop you guys off the tripod for a minute there and bring you out here. I've just had you stuck over there. So take a look at it. As you can see, I do have some grass growing over here. It's very few and far in between. I have over top of here probably, in some places, up to a foot to a foot and a half of mulch. And then in some places, just a couple of inches. A slope right here. It's not a giant one, but enough to where when it rains, I'll get a trench dug throughout my yard. And it washes away any topsoil that there is because it won't stick to the clay. So what I did is my berry field, my berry patches, they're raised beds. So they're raised up off the ground, and then I'm planted on top of those strawberries. And that gave it the ability for when it rains, it hits these swells, the raised beds, and it takes it and runs it down the line. Now, if I didn't have many of them, if I only had one at the bottom of the hill, then it wouldn't work. It would run right through it. But since I've tiered it down, and there's going to be another one right here, so I'm only getting sections of water hitting, so that way I'm not getting it rushing down the hill. I'm now getting it just going in certain sections. I've decreased the amount of water that can travel down the entire hill. So my theory is, and it's been proven before, is that as the water wants to come down the hill, it's going to come down and it's going to hit my swells, and each swell is going to act like a way to channel it off. Now it will be going to the end of the channels and going down into the ditch. That already happens. So I am not increasing it anymore. Here comes Lola. Today must not be a pet me day. So I lost my train of thought. I saw a cat. Cat made me lose my train of thought. So yes, so the water's gonna be coming down, and instead of gathering up all the water from the entire hill and running down, it's still going to go down the hill and still go into the ditch. It's just now going to go slower speed by hitting these swells and going down. So what we're also going to do is we're going to get a nice, strong grass growing out here. I don't care about fancy, pretty looking bluegrass or anything like that. I want something that my chickens can eat, that will be beneficial to them, because they eat it, they're going to pass it along to the eggs that we eat. So let's go ahead and get those spread out. It's getting a little chilly out here, so we're going to go ahead and get this done. I'm going to throw you guys back on the tripod. So my hope with this is I'll get a good base of grass growing, and by doing so, moving my chickens through here, they will eat the grass, eat the bugs, hunt and peck like a good chicken does. Let me switch hands. There we go. And by them doing so, they will add their nitrogen, their poop, to my soil. So the chickens will be in each spot for 1 week. And at the end of that week, they'll get moved to a new spot. And when I move them to a new spot, I will then take grass seed again, pasture seed, clover, and I will reseed it, because they won't be in that spot for another month. So the grass should start taking hold. Hopefully with this theory is, I know for the first year or two I'm gonna have to seed every single time, but eventually the grass should be able to grow back on its own, thicker and fuller every time. So that is my theory. Here you go. Take a look at this.
Anyone guess what that is?
That is a field pea that I planted last year. We're gonna take this opportunity for a quick lesson. Let me sit down so I'm not crouching. It hurts my knee to crouch. So, this is a field pea. This was part of the mix that I put out last fall before we went into winter. I told you I like to get the deer plot stuff, because that way it's gonna have tons of stuff that my chickens like. Well, the cool thing about peas is they are nitrogen fixers. So you see these little knobs, little bulbs at the roots? That is actually what puts the nitrogen into your soil. And what it does is the plant will produce nitrogen, it will inject it into your soil. So there are certain plants out there, peas, clover, they say if you have soil that is nitrogen deficient, to plant these as cover crops, and that way it will put the nitrogen back into your soil without having to spray. So that, you look at that root system. Look how tiny that plant is compared to how long that root is. That is pretty dang good for a pea that small to have that long of a root. But it's probably been slowly growing since this fall. So we're gonna go ahead and take it, just throw it back over there, put a little dirt over it. Chickens will enjoy that. No, Super Hawk, I'm not coming anywhere near you. You can just hang out next to your ladies. So I was hoping to get to this spot today. This is where the peas will be going. I needed to move the fence up about 10 feet so I could put in the rows of peas. However, it is supposed to rain for the next 3 to 4 days. So even if I moved the fence, tilled up the area, got the piles already, I'm afraid to stick the peas in there because I don't want them to start to rot away before they actually have a chance to fully germinate. So I'm going to go ahead and unfortunately wait a little bit. I'm going to let them keep doing their thing. They're in there scratching it away, tearing it up, turning it into good soil for me. And then I'll be able to come out here and plant. All right, so we're going to end it here in the greenhouse. I do appreciate everyone joining me today on my spring chores. They're not always fun. Cleaning gravel out of the ditch is probably one of the most painful things on my back. But the tractor helps out a lot. Getting ready, planting grass seed. I was going to hopefully get further along today, but it's getting chilly outside, getting later in the day. So please go ahead and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, like this video, ring that bell, and leave me a comment. And remember, always stay motivated. No, when they go on sale, I get them from tractors. I get them. Show me Can you leave pictures in the comment? I don't think you can.